everybody. Welcome to We Are Artists. We are here to talk to you guys about We Are Artists, otherwise known as WAR. Here are the members of We Are Artists Executive Board. I'm the president. We have Becca, the Internal Communications Chair. We have Erica, External Communications Chair. We got Reggie, the Parliamentarian. We got Fred Freeze, he's the Treasurer. And we all just want to kind of take some time at the end of the year to talk to everybody about who we are as we are artists, where we got started, what are some of our goals are in the future. So, um, first, I want to start off and talk a little bit about the beginning of We Are Artists. So, um, yeah, so when I was a young lassie, I would go around Birmingham and notice that um there are so many really talented artists everywhere that you know wanted to make a career out of doing what they love to do and just seemed to be lacking the resources. So one day, I called all of my friends up to a place called Malcolm's Reading Room. all of my all of my friends, the artists, up to a place called Malcolm Reading Room, and I pitched the idea of war to them. And then I called them afterwards and asked them and asked them to participate in the organization. So some of the OGs some of the OGs aren't here with us anymore, but we still got OGs here. So we got Reggie and Becca and Fred who have been here the whole time. Erica is newer, but she's still OG. She's been around for a minute, so she's still, she got skin and time up in the game. So a little bit about me. I am a photographer. I've been a photographer for a long time, but I also do marketing, I also do insurance. I also have a business called Shooting Your Shot, marketing and photography. And yeah, that's me. Becca, take it away. Let's hear a little bit more about you.
All right. Hey everybody. Yes, I do remember that very first meeting at Malcolm's reading room, like when everybody was in there and everybody was like, "What are we doing?" But like I said, from the beginning, I got into. I am an art. I guess I'm an artist. I'm a musician. I play piano. I play flute. I've been in band. I'm a writer, and just it just made sense. Birmingham has a plethora of artists, so much talent in the city, and the thought process has always been, what can I do to help bring more attention to that? So I will let my better half, Reginald, go next.
Reggie Carr. And if the video breaks up again, it's because we're on the same network. That might be part of it. So, um, uh, not much to really say. Really, I've been here with We Are Artists since the very beginning. I remember when Jessica came to us and said, pitched the idea to us. And I was like, it sounds pretty interesting. Let's go check it out. And that was the first time I actually met the artists in the area and everything, including meeting up with Fred and everything, who became a mentor shortly after all of that. So it was a good, productive meeting, and we've had some really good times since then and everything. So that's why I continue to help out. As far as artwork goes, I'm a musician myself. I play saxophone. I've been playing saxophone since the sixth grade. I currently play with the Birmingham Wind Ensemble and do a little bit of a saxophone tutoring on the side for younger kids or so. Um, and professionally, like just professional life, and I work in IT. So um, that's it for me. Pass the buck to Erica there.
Definitely thought that was going to Fred Freeze next. So so I am the late comer, but not newcomer. I've been hanging out with War for like a decade, or actually more, over a decade at this point. When I first moved back to Birmingham, I was supporting another artist organization. Jessica cornered me outside of a bar. and said, and and declared this request. I didn't know who she was or what war was until it was a very interesting conversation to say the least. We had only seen each other in passing. We did have a lot of mutuals, and because she was working with artists and I was supporting this particular organization, we crossed, and her name crossed my desk, and so on and so forth. But I guess I just handled myself with so much professionalism that she brought me on board, and it's been a joy and a pleasure. My art is food. I dibble and dabble in a few other things, but that is by far my happy art. It has been an absolute pleasure supporting war, and you know learning how to support better as we go.
And
Sorry, and now it's with Fred
All
Freeze.
right, Fred, you're up.
yes. Hi, of course, I'm Fred Freeze. I've been involved with hip hop um my entire life, honestly, because I started out as a writer. And those who know what that means. Shout out to Blake Showers and a lot of other kids that came from war, actually. And carried records for my cousin, then became a producer. And this is all in Chicago. Then you come down to Alabama from the northern part of the state. By the time I came to Birmingham, ran into some guys that are on the radio now, like Supreme and everybody like that. They were doing the eargasm, which was unique for Birmingham. I never, in the South, Huntsville had its boom bap scene. The northern part of the state had its boom bap scene. I always wondered while I was at UAB, where was the boom bap kids? Besides running into the likes of what was Southern Comfort, then became Red Light District. I ain't gonna tell everybody history because I know people will come looking for me. But anyway, at the end of the day, those were boom bap. Those were boom bap guys. Um, and that was a culture. So Birmingham always had a whole bunch of talent, like ridiculous amounts of talent. I run across guys that had so much talent, and I wanted to do something about it to keep it going. I watched as everybody put stuff up, and you could only do it for so long because you're only one person. And I wanted to be a part of helping and supporting the new generation to come along and giving them an opportunity to continue doing that. Uh, I may sometimes be somewhat biased toward my boom bap lane because it's not it's not as southern as whatever, but the South is just full of so many talented, rich, creative people, and music itself in America comes from that. Hey, what can I say? So that's why I got involved with war, to try to support and give these everybody an opportunity. So production and um illustration is my primary art thing. And that's what I do. That's what I support. Um want to continue supporting it. And that's that.
Hello. Yeah, that was great. Thank you for sharing, everybody, about our history and your particular background. We have such a diverse group of people, and I love it. I met Reggie and Becca in band during doing KK Psi, so that's why we're all band members and musicians, and yeah, they've been doing this work for a long time. They started the KKSI chapter on the UAB's campus. So they've definitely been, always in there to support the artists and artistry. Um, okay, so some of the things that we have done in the past, one of the things we did was an event called Support Your Local Artists, Please. And that event was basically where we would have a bunch of different artists come and show their wares, and sometimes do performances, and not only just like music and rap and all of that. Sometimes we would have them come and do breakdancing or model or painting, and that was a good time as well. Becca just sent us some pictures. I'm gonna see if I could pull any of that up. Does anybody kind of remember that and want to share any stories that they remember from that era? No? Okay.
Becca's
Well,
working real hard. I feel like she's got stories to tell.
Well, I can say I'm
I don't know
impressed
if I
that
have stories. Yeah.
well, I can say we should at
Go
least
ahead,
be
Fred.
happy that I'm sorry. I would say I think we should really be happy that I watched a lot of people's careers. And again, I'm not naming names because everybody whatever, but I watched a lot of young kids that stepped forward and really blossomed as creatives. And we gave them platforms, which really is something I would like to keep doing. And that was the best part about Slap, because there's a lot of people that I'm still really lifelong friendships, and what went from mentor became colleague to watching them create families and still do see that they can still do what they're doing and still be creatives continually. And really, a lot of them say people may not tell you this directly, but they will tell you this privately. Some of the stuff we did gave them insight on doing that. So
Yeah, we had war war junior war youth committee, and they had their own version of slap, and a lot of the people that Fred was just mentioning came up through the war junior or war.
they're good. They were good.
Yeah,
They proved they were really good.
so good. I remember we had a war album. Do you still have that, Fred?
Yes, I got it somewhere within CD archives. I got to dig through those CDs because I got them all neatly stored away. I just got to go through all those CDs.
That
I
was so.
forget y'all did that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I remember Haru gave us the whole like war theme song and everything, and I really wish we could get a hold of that. So if you could find that, that would be fantastic because the song kind of was awesome.
Hmm.
Did it slap?
It did slap.
It's like, yeah, pun intended.
Exactly.
Yes.
um and just like Fred was talking about, another thing we love to do is really connect different artists with each other and help give different artists opportunities they might not have had otherwise. So these activities, events, and meetings and stuff give artists opportunities to network with each other, and a lot of times they end up making a career out of it. So that's another thing that I'm really happy about with We Are Artists. So yeah. Um, okay. Anything else that you guys want to talk about or remember from way back in the day?
For me, it was the sense of camaraderie and community that kind of came out of it. Like Fred was saying, lifelong friendships and such that were developed with that and everything. But I think for me, because I tended to want to do more of just the work side of things, trying to help you get the event set up and going and all that. And it was just really cool to watch all of that get pulled together and watch everybody come together to put together an event. And once the event was going, it was a lot of fun. But my favorite one was what was the one we did on First Ave? I can't remember the name of the event space anymore.
Matthews Bar and Grill.
Yeah, yeah, it was
Yeah,
probably Matthew.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
Matthews. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
That was just a really fun event, and it just kind of I felt like we ended it too soon because it kind of like it was just kept going. Everybody was coming in and people coming in off the street, and then there was also people who were like, "Hey, can I just come in and do stuff with you guys while you're here and everything?" It was a really fun event. I would like to capture that again. So
Cool. So y'all think we should do another slap?
Yeah, it definitely.
Really?
We
Okay.
should. It felt like a bit of like a family reunion. It
Hmm.
felt a little bit like an art show. It felt a little bit like, just people coming together and sharing and supporting it. I really do. I really agree. It felt like a community like
Mhm.
push.
And I
So
feel like we don't really have that as much these
That's
days,
it.
you know.
That's it. I've been screaming that because
Yeah.
honestly, we really need to do that for our community and for us. Because like we know, so how do we serve the community? Like our artists need to be centered. You know what I mean? Somebody's got to center our artists, and
Right.
somebody's got to curate our artists through our lens and let them have their voice free. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, and that's it's difficult because a lot of times they have to go negotiate with other spaces or they have to negotiate through somebody else. But when we're in control and we're able to say, hey, yes, you can have this space and show your work and just, you know, be you, be free, be your full self. And that's the whole thing is just giving the artist a space to be free and, so on and so forth.
So, all right. So, okay, and that's something that we could talk about later on in one of our meetings. Cause that would be cool. I was just thinking like, maybe sometimes I feel like I'm a little out of touch. So I don't know if it's maybe happening elsewhere and I'm just not in the loop these days, but I'm sure that this is kind of across the board if you guys are kind of feeling the same way as well. So,
Oh yeah.
What was cool for me? So, I wasn't here back in the day. However, as a part of the community, um, I was introduced to war because I had a need for artists, not in the city but close by, and being able to reach out. Like I was immediately when I reached out to my network in the city, I was pointed to war. I was pointed to voice, and had a whole roster like immediately for an event that I was doing in South Alabama. And so for me being able to say like I want to support my hometown, building an artist community in the city that I'm in, but I don't know anyone, I don't have a network, being able to reach out to home, and War provided that for me. They were able to give me a list of all the things that I needed, which then helped me build a community in the city that I was living in because of that, and that networked out, and all the things and growth that happened from that. So even though that was prior to me serving the community via War, as a part of the community, War still served me, and I love that that was able to happen, and I would love to be able to be that space, and serve the community in that way. When people are looking for art and artists, they know, oh, well, we can, like, War knows the people. They can connect us and make those connections. So that's really dope.
beautiful. I love that. Um yeah, that is a good point. And speaking of Brian was there from the beginning. Brian was our vice president, and he actually um had an organization called Word Speak before War was ever founded, and Word Speak was a poetry organization. Um so he already had a bunch of fillers and networks in Birmingham. So part of the mission of War was to be able to bring together all of these organizations, not just people, but organizations, as well as like venues and places where people can congregate, or people who are art enthusiasts who really just want to help other artists be successful. So um Brian had all the people, he knew all the folks. And he will be dearly and is dearly missed. So but yeah, he speaking of like current events, Brian was responsible for getting us a grant, um for, I want to say it was like $10,000. This was a few years ago before he passed away, but this money went towards the revitalization of Ensley. And so one of the last things that we did was work on putting together a mural in Ensley, an art mural in Ensley. So we ran against some obstacles for that, but I did receive an email today saying, we're back on to getting that completed. So yay for that. um all right, so let's see. What are some of the other things that you guys want to get done in We Are Artists besides having another slap event? I know we talked about some of those things our last meeting. I mentioned before that I would love to have a library of materials of art that people could maybe check out if they ever need it. And thinking that a possibility would be that we could work with a local libraries that already do similar programs that loan a tool, but we could kind of like maybe expand it to include a lot of more art material. Or if we aren't able to find a library to work with them, I think that we would be able to find other venues that we could use in that way. So that's one of the things that I would love to see happening with war. um let's go down the line. um Becca, you mentioned something last time about Make Beham and working with other organizations. You want to talk about that a little bit?
That is one of the things that I want to do. I want to reach out more to other, art organizations that are dedicated to the arts and see how we can partner with them. See, if we can
You still there, Becca?
supply, make those connections. We look like they could do this thing. Would love to see it.
Is that just me, or
Did I
is
cut out?
Yeah, yeah, you've been
And
freezing
then
a little
she's
bit.
cutting out for
I think
a
it's
little bit.
yeah.
Yeah, it might
Yeah.
be our network. It's that time of day. Everybody's coming home and jumping online.
okay? Can you repeat what you just said? Because it
Good
seems to
old
be.
Spectrum.
Yeah, I know. Me too. It seems to be working better now. Can you repeat that, Becca?
So I was saying it would be good to connect more with artist communities. Maybe since we know so many artists that do so many different things, and we can look at other community organizations that have opportunities, connect them with grants, connect them with opportunities to display their art.
Uh-oh.
It would be a lot more, yeah.
What was maybe the last 15 seconds of what you said?
Maybe an event space, a small event space that's dedicated for us.
Okay, yes, yes, we did talk about doing something like that. Um, yeah, I love that idea. Having an event space that is for us. Maybe we could have Slap there, have our stuff there. Possibly do it in Ensley. Maybe looking at other places. I know Fred said you had some links there, so we can look into that. Okay, I love that. Thank you, Becca. Um, Erica, you want to talk about some of the stuff we discussed last time?
Yeah, so 2026, I would like to see us do more, just like creating within the community. And so not necessarily just having a platform for people to come and showcase what they do or what they have done or what they can do well, but having a space where you're just able to just create. Like I'm sitting here making a purse, to have to have a place where I can go and sit and have other people around. It's like, I'm learning to waffle, and you want to learn to waffle to do a waffle stitch. Can we do that together? Do you have some, maybe you have some extra yarn or some different patterns, and just being able to create in community, whatever that looks like, whether or not we're sitting, we're writing together, or we're having a mini jam session, and just playing in the arts together in community with no real end goal other than just to create in community. I think that there's something magical about being able to sit around other creatives, and create in the space of other creatives.
I love that. And I can't wait to get started with that because I need your mom to show up to one of these things and show me how to sew.
Do some smocking. I'll happily recruit her for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. um, yeah, I would love to plan out something like that. I think that would be great. Yes. Um, Reggie, do you have anything you wanna do specifically next year?
I would like to have us revisit some of the spaces we saw in Ensley for event spaces and such. Kind of continue on Voice's original idea of trying to bring art back to Ensley. Uh, some of the places that we had looked at, I don't know, 2 years ago, I guess now, that were at the time still really developing whatnot. I thought they would have been a nice place for us to do, like Eric was saying, like mini jam sessions and such, or if even if we could, get access to that block and just throw a block party / slap event.
Mm-hmm.
I thought would be kind of fun to get there. It'd be one of those things where we could get everybody set up as a outside gallery. Almost kind of like one of those markets you see on TV where everybody can just kind of walk along, listen to music, get food, buy wares and whatnot. And it's just open to whoever it is that's coming through that area. I think that'd be a lot of fun. That's the overall vision. I don't know if that's something that's specifically 2026, but that'd be cool to actually really work towards something like that again.
I love that. I'm listening to it and I feel a little overwhelmed thinking about it, but I
Yeah,
do.
I mean, it's like it's not small, right?
Yeah, about like all the moving parts, but I love that idea. Like I love the idea of getting of having a festival, and I think it's totally doable in Inslee, and I think that we have enough people who are willing to help out to get it done. I don't know so much about 2026, but I want to look into. I think that would be great. Like I think there's plenty of space to do it. I think we can have like a concert somewhere outside, I think there's inside space. You know what it reminds me of? Do you guys remember when we worked with Tuxedo Junction?
Mm,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Y'all
yeah,
remember Tuxedo Junction?
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we could do something similar because I remember War kind of had a thing going on in one building, and then the War Youth Committee had something else going on in another building. But then there was stuff like it was a festival, like you know, a pretty large festival. Where is Tuxedo? It's somewhere near Inslee, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's up the street. Like Tuxedo Junction itself is like it's right there.
By my
There's a
phone.
neighborhood called Tuxedo Heights, isn't it? And then you come down into the junction.
Yeah.
Got
I
You know
excited
what
because
I'm
that's
talking
from.
about?
I got excited. It's from.
See what I'm saying? Yeah.
that's where your mom is from, that neighborhood.
That's where my mom lives. My mom's house is in Tuxedo Heights.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
You know, put
Make
her business all in the streets, but
See,
where I grew up or whatever.
but yeah, yeah, I like that. I don't know when's the last time they had a tuxedo junction. It was something that they used to do
There she
every.
froze. Oh, oh no.
So that's something to look into. Maybe,
Mhm.
maybe partnering with whoever did it previously and doing, you know, doing it again. So
One other thing that I would like to see us really do in 2026, it's not necessarily artist focused, but it is community focused, is kind of partnering with some of the community organizations or organizations just supporting the community as artists. So I know Margins is planning a project. I don't know that I can speak on what that project is. Not sure if I can speak on that, so I won't. But Margins is working on a project right now, and I've been asked to do something in an artist capacity for that project, and it makes perfect sense with what it is. But I think that that opens up opportunity just supporting the community with our artistic gifts. I know um, several different community organizations have events and they put on things for for the community, and being able to show up as artists and support them in those things, whether or not it's a food drive or HIV awareness event or whatever it may be. um, Showing up as artists to support those things that are happening in the community. So I think that that would be a beautiful use of our time and talents um, throughout 2026.
I think that that's a great idea. We need to get our email thing up and jumping. Sending out an email just to keep people abreast of things going on, and maybe not necessarily on a monthly basis, but at least getting our email list together and being able to let people know what's happening, so that if they are able to support, then maybe they can
Yeah,
come.
and even as maybe our external communications chair could reach out to some of these organizations to find out what they have and if they're in need of artist support, um, or just showing up as artists and showing our presence as artists. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be showing up in an arts capacity, but because art is community and we are about community, how do we show up and um, support those organizations that are doing the work in the community to make sure that we have more artists? Because if people are not alive, I almost jumped on a soapbox. I'm done.
I'm good for that.
Mhm.
Okay, I love it. Fred Freeze, did we talk to you about your stuff yet?
No,
Don't think.
and I'll be brief. My biggest passion is still with the kids and trying to actually do things to nurture the next generation of artists and give them resources and give them a greater platform. Because one of the biggest things I've always felt like you'll always hear me say it, because I'm not from Birmingham, but you know, when I see that you got like a lot of talent and the talent doesn't get its chance really to kind of just be sitting there visible all the time, or it there's not enough information or network information that a person knows what to do with the talent that they have. So they don't know how to take it to market, they don't know where to put it, they don't know anything about, they don't really even know their industry very well. You know what I mean? So you're basically sending people out into the same trap. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that I would like to actually, at some point, I've always wanted the war youth to eventually become something more like what they have in Japan with the youth level or the city level art brigades types, collectives. Like I right now, as a part of my other organization, um, I do STEM work at Oxmoor Valley and a couple of other places. There's two kids in particular. Two of the kids, this not to segue, the two kids in particular, they are working on a illustrating a comic book by themselves, right? These are going into middle school kids, and their work isn't bad. As a person who sees illustration, they understand the various dynamics and stuff. One kid is such a good coder that he's dang near done a game by himself using something as simple as CodeSpark, which is a little bit more difficult than a lot of people would imagine. And it's a good game. It's a playable game. You know what I mean? So these are the type of kids that you get to snatch them immediately, put them with other kids that are doing what they're doing, and put a battery in their back, supercharge them so that they can actually glow up, basically, and get the more. So that's something that I'm just brainstorming on ways to kind of get that done and look at it. I'm getting more contacts within the school system, and I'm looking at expanding that out. But that's something that's always sit with me, as far as like I want to be able to leave some kind of infrastructure that can build up and then maybe reconnect with the other parts of the state like Huntsville and stuff like that along that path, where the youth can actually have something, especially our youth. So
Do you think they would benefit? Because I have had an idea for the longest time called Couch Conscious Art, Urban Culture, and History. I don't know if you guys remember that,
yeah, I remember
but
that.
okay. So basically, the idea is to match people or the youth with mentors who are either doing what it is that they're doing or something similar to kind of help them along the way. So is that something that you think could be helpful or
Oh
something that
no,
we
that is actually a good part of it when we can get working artists and people like that can come in and talk about the things that they do. If people have anything like mentorship level programs, and a lot of it is getting people in the same place and letting iron sharpen iron. And
mm-hmm.
I think that's something that a lot of kids, like we say, touch grass. That's the old adage goes, but it's it's a combination of getting out amongst your peers that do what you do, navigating through conflicts, navigating through business, navigating through what it takes to do the thing. And right now, everything is becoming even more insular because of the internet. So that's, you don't get a feel for what to do next. I think doing that is a start. So, and then even showing the future landscapes, like the things that they're going to have to face, artificial intelligence. So, Couch would actually be a good thing. Like, anybody that we could bring in to mentor, to speak on certain things and give them direction, that's good, you know.
And so is it something that you see us doing within the schools or like having some kind of program outside of schools?
We're probably going to have to, because the reservoir we could work with libraries and community centers to see, to put the fillers out about it, because their things are very simple and inexpensive. Like when we did drawing, we had a drawing circle that was at a comic book shop in Vestavia, and it was there until the comic book shop closed. And it doesn't cost anything, but go get yourself a notepad from Five and Below and some pencils. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And sitting there, and you can sitting there. People don't realize the guy who created Black, that was illustrating Black Dynamite, he really found another black artist in his neighborhood that was a great illustrator, and he worked under him to learn his illustration skills. So it's really just that type of thing. It's like you get an understudy and you go from there. Like I like a lot of stuff that even Preem and them are doing with Crew, with their organization. There's a lot of things that are going on that's what that needs to be expanded out. People need to work in conjunction. If they ever need help with anything and they don't mind help, we could help them. You know what I mean?
Do you think that there's any, I'm losing the word, but
Synergy?
synergy.
Synergy?
Yeah. Is there any synergy with the idea of helping the youth and also like craft days, what Erica was talking about? Like is there a way that we can bring those two things together for some
Yeah.
time or some all the times? What do you guys think about that?
I think sometimes that's a great thing because youth want to craft too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
youth want to figure out things too. Like these things are not. exclusive. Like some, there's a lot of young kids that they would like to learn how to like sew or um their kids are into fashion that they want to figure out how to make. So that's a lot of,
Like even perhaps if we're doing that like on a um informal is not the word, but I'm gonna just leave that word right there since I don't, the other word isn't happening in my vocabulary. Doing these days, but having um, subject matter experts from different areas that are just there creating as well, but they're kind of, so they're not there necessarily in an official capacity to lead a workshop or to lead a thing, but they're there to kind of assist and guide. They're crafting and hanging out too, but kind of like plants. Like we know we have a seamstress here, we know we have a producer here, we know we have this person here. And so as we're inviting people to create in those genres, kind of giving them the space to be able to ask questions, and maybe that can kind of start to create these relationships, these kind of mentor mentee relationships within the craft. And so if you come just to have fun with no pressure, but you have someone here that you can ask questions of and ask questions to build those relationships in kind of a organic manner, and then even maybe branching off from that. Okay, we saw a lot of interest in this particular thing during this craft day, and so we're going to do a workshop, and this person's going to lead that workshop. Kind of moving, kind of connecting those things without it necessarily being such a big task from the start. Um, the start small approach is always my happy medium.
I
I'm
love
with
it.
you.
You're
Hmm.
thinking like, is this idea of having these craft days? Are you thinking specifically having multiple types of crafts to begin with, or like sectioning it?
Yeah, in my mind, like to start, it very much is where we're as best as possible providing a variety of mediums. And so it's not like you're coming to do like over here we've got yarn and crochet hooks and needles, just in case you weirdos like to knit. Over here we may have some different instrumentation. We talk about my mommy being a seamstress and bringing some things, but I have a dad that's a real life musician, and all of you guys are real life musicians too, and maybe having some different things there. I don't know how comfortable he would be with bringing like real life music writing software, but having some computers set up, maybe downloading some software. And so as you play, we have some keyboards there. As you play, how does producing sheet music, writing your own music, and so just having some different areas set up. Think Guitar Center, but instead of there being different instruments, there's different craft stations. So you can kind of choose your art. So I'm saying craft in a but in a broader sense, right? So there's paint and little inexpensive canvas happening over here, or as Goldie says, paint on some cardboard. Paint on a piece of cardboard, and if you like it, transfer it to a canvas or put it in a frame and call it a canvas. But we have all of those things set up, where you can just kind of come and be free to create in whatever your medium is. Have some ingredients in the corner, bake you a cookie. I don't know. Probably not gonna have a stove, but we can have some little burners. Create a thing happening there. So just a space to just live in art and create whatever bubbles up, um, out of your soul. All the Dollar Tree crafts that exist at this point. That's the the clock app is constantly showing all of these amazing things that you can make from Dollar Tree products. So having some random Dollar Tree products, what can you create from these three bowls and this wooden dial and picture frame? what you got? what is this? Oh, you made you made some wall art. Take it home.
Okay. All right. That's cool. Yeah, let's work on that, hash that out and see how we can get that jumping. Um I kind of see how that we can build off of that, and those two different ideas can build off of each other. Um I'm kind of interested in seeing if, maybe we could hire specific people to come in to teach, um not necessarily like just to be there to advise, like you said, later maybe on having a workshop specifically for that, but maybe like, having specific people there, like you said, to be available to ask questions as well. That's something we could definitely look into. But yeah, and Becca said she likes that idea. She said it's like a third space for artists, and
Yeah.
we're lacking on third spaces, so yeah, that's fantastic. All right. Um, let us see. What else should we be talking about? And um, let's see. Is there anything else that you guys want to discuss or would like to mention before we end? Because I don't want us to be cut off like we were like we were before. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
I would
yeah,
just like to really reiterate that War is here. We are hanging out. We are here for artists. We are artists. And whatever your needs are, showing up, reach out to any or all of us and ask the question, say the things. Here's what I need. Because aside from this, one of the things that we will continue to be doing in 2026, I hope, probably should ask our president. Um, I hope is that we'll continue to be doing artist lives, and having the artist perspective, teaching on different topics and different subjects. And so, if there are things that you want to know, learn, understand, or just build community around, that's what we are. That's what we're here for. So come hang out.
very well said. Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely want to help in any way that we can. Even if it's not something that we've discussed today. Definitely let us know. We want to help you. That's why we're here. For sure. Um, yeah. So is everybody's hearts and minds composed?
I think so.
Yep.
We're all in alignment here.
Oh, we're all in alignment. All right, you guys. We'll probably see us again in January or February. We're gonna be taking a little bit of a break, and hit the ground running again in January. So, um, yeah. Thank you for joining us on this live, and we will see you the next go round.